Welcome back to Sports News Weekly. The women's basketball team has won 3 national championships and went to the national championship game last season. Head coach Jeff Dittman is here with me in the studio. Coach, thanks for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so now your team started this season ranked 4th in the country. So what exactly does that mean to you?
Well, it's a starting spot, I guess, is the biggest thing. As I talk to recruits, I say there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is we're one of the top 5 teams in the country. The bad news is we're only picked 3rd in our own conference. So it tells you a little bit about the challenges that we're going to face over the course of the year.
All right, so now your team had 2 games in South Dakota this past weekend. Saturday you took on 9th-ranked Black Hills State University, which turned out to be a 74-58 loss. Was it tough to play such a difficult opponent in your opening contest?
You know, I guess I'm used to that. If you remember a couple of years ago when I was at Dakota State, we opened the season with Hastings College 2 years in a row. The first time Hastings College was ranked number 1 in the country, and I think the next time they were ranked 4th. I like to give our team a challenge from day one. I think over the course of the entire summer, their off season and so forth, if they know they've got a great team coming up, if they know they've got a great preseason schedule, I hope that it makes them work a little bit harder in the off season. So, you know, the game didn't turn out as we wanted it to be. We found out some things about ourselves, and we corrected a few of those before we played South Dakota Mines on Sunday.
All right, so now you mentioned this perfectly, but the team bounced back, got that 96-71 victory over South Dakota Mines. Was it important to see the team bounce back that quickly?
It was. If you go on a road trip like that and you come home 0-2, I think it creates some questions in your mind. And like I said, we saw that we made some mistakes. We knew some things we had to correct. We were able to do it immediately versus having to come home and practice 4 or 5 days to fix a couple of those things. And so I was pleased with our turnaround performance on Sunday.
All right, so now you play one of the toughest conferences in the country with top-ranked Morningside and second-ranked Northwestern. Does that help or hurt your team?
Well, it is what it is, you know, so to speak. You're playing a great schedule. Those teams you know are great, but there's a lot of other teams in this league that are great teams as well and can win on any given night. So I think as we talk about, and it goes across the board with any sport, there's just not a night off. You're going to have to play very well when you're on the road. You're going to be challenged all the time. And on certain nights, you're going to play the best team in the country or the second best team in the country. So it all helps prepare you for the national tournament.
All right, so now we mentioned your ranking earlier. What are some of the goals that the team has set for this season?
You know, right now we don't really set a formal goal. I want to get through the preseason where we're playing some great teams. We opened with number 9. We go play number 3 Davenport this Friday. We have number 19 Southwestern at home next Tuesday. We play number 7 College of Ozarks the next weekend, and then we open conference with number 15 USF. So it's a very challenging schedule. We want to get through that. We want to get better as each game goes on. We want to make sure that we've faced everything that we can see before we get into conference, and hopefully this preseason schedule will get us ready to play in the GPAC.
All right, so excuse me, you mentioned the game against Davenport this weekend, but what's it going to take to come away with the victory against such a talented team?
Well, I think, you know, the mistakes we found last weekend were we didn't take care of the basketball, and we had 25 turnovers, and that was a huge part of our failure on Saturday, and it was a big part of our turnaround on Sunday. So, number one, you can't give easy opportunities. I think we have an opportunity to be a great defensive team this year, but when you turn the ball over in the open court and give up layups that you can't defend, you have no chance of using that good defense. The other thing is we gave up too many free throws. We gave 27 free throws to Black Hills, and they hit 21 of them. And that's another area you can't defend. You can't put a hand in the face of the free throw shooter. So if we can stay away from those 2 areas in particular, then we have a great shot of beating anybody on our schedule.
All right, well, that is going to do it for this edition of Sports News Weekly. As fall sports wind down, winter sports are heating up. I would like to thank coaches Jeff Dittman and Sean Kelly for coming in today and talking with us. You can stay up to date by logging on to www.hcworldnews.com. Thanks for tuning in to Sports News Weekly. Next week, Alex will take a look at youth development in sports. Tune in next week. I'm Kirk Gornoff. Thanks. Have a great day and a safe weekend.